All right, from the studios of Fairfax City, we are very grateful that Elinborg Pálsdóttir accepted our invitation to our show. Elinborg, welcome to my humble podcast.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's go back to the beginning of your life, Elinborg. For people that don't know you, were you born like in a musical family? I mean, you came from a country that is very well known for the tradition and the music, and feel free to elaborate about your family, your environment, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I grew up in the Faroe Islands in a very small village called Syðrugøta.
Yeah.
I think the population is around 500 people or something.
Yeah.
And I come from a musical family. I mean, my mom has always sung a lot. She has a beautiful voice. And my father, he used to write a lot of poems. So I think that has kind of a lot to do with why I love art. And then I, of course, also have a sister, an older sister that is a musician as well. So she has inspired me a lot in my life. I grew up watching her kind of do her thing. So I always kind of knew that I wanted to do the same.
Yeah, it was difficult. Stupid question. Was it difficult being the shadow of, Elinborg, which your sister, she's very famous.
She is.
Yeah.
No, I've never really thought it was difficult. I've always seen it as a blessing. She's been there for me in so many ways. First and foremost as a sister, but mostly just supporting me, like in my personal life, but then also in my career, kind of like telling me kind of which way to go and what not to do. So I've always felt very prepared for this lifestyle because of her, and I'm very grateful for that. And yeah, I think a lot of people often ask me that question, like if I see it as, or how it feels to be kind of the shadow. But I've never seen it like that myself. I've always just, I've always been very blessed, I think, to have her in my life.
Got it. And your sister, I met her, interviewed her. She's a very nice lady, so you come from a very good family. So, right.
Yeah, she is. She's the best.
Yeah, she's a very nice lady too. She's amazing. Yeah. Your musical genre can be described as a dark electronic pop. Why that particular style appeals to you? What that type of music and no other type of music, right?
Yeah, I think it took me a really long time to figure out what sound I wanted to make. I started writing my own music very young, and started more as a singer-songwriter. And then it just evolved, and I was trying different things out. I started studying at the musical conservatory here in Copenhagen, where I started teaching myself how to use Ableton. And that's kind of where I taught myself to do like electronic beats and play with synths and stuff like that, and production just in general. And I think that's how my sound was kind of created, and how I figured out, okay, this feels right, and this is what I'm going to do from now on.
I got you. In 2015, you released your first album of 4 songs at the time, written by yourself in Faroese, and I think the album is titled Spor.
Mm-hmm.
And then you end up performing at the G Festival, the Faroe Music Festival. Feel free to describe, how difficult it was in the beginning to put this track together. You were very young, you're still very young, and no money. What was the process of putting, I want to do it, I want to go for it, I don't care what I need to do, but I need to make it happen.
Yeah, I think I was very set on, I wanted to create an EP at that point, because I had these songs and I really wanted to make it happen. And I obviously turned to my sister, and I turned to my mom, who also helped me out a lot. So we applied for a lot of grants in the Faroe Islands. That's how we got the money to create the album or the EP.
Yeah.
And then we just went into the studio, and I think that EP is it has a really special place in my heart, because the songs are all written about my father who passed. And it was I think only a few years later that I wrote this EP. So it's kind of a way for me to deal with my feelings and to get all my emotions out. And then I released that EP and I kind of like threw it out into the universe, so I didn't have to, keep it all inside, kind of. So it's a very special EP.
And then what happened? So the EP was released. You began sending it to radio. What was the process of you having a CD and send it to the world and then try to hopefully people will listen to the stuff. What was the process of doing that?
Yeah, it was a very like I did it myself kind of situation. So I just sent it to the Faroese radio stations and tried to post a lot on Facebook and Instagram. And I remember I even made like these posters and I hung them up all over the city. I was like, hey, my album's out, listen to it. So I was just trying my best to kind of promote it myself. And yeah, I think it was well received at the time. And yeah, I'm very happy I released that EP. I think that was the start of a lot of good things.
And in your country, obviously everybody speaks Faroese, but many artists do like have some songs in English, and everybody speak English than there as well. Or your focus were from the Faroese community or Iceland, which is right next to you guys, and or you at the beginning, I suppose it was easier for you to do it in Faroese because you were appealing to the local folks there in your country, right? Or the local community, the local radio station that would play your music, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think like for that EP, it was very natural to do it in my native language. But also it's just kind of, it has also now become a part of my sound to do it in Faroese, I think. And
Yeah.
even at that age, I was very inspired by where I came from and the Faroe Islands and my Faroese roots. And I always wanted to like hold on to that somehow. But I think I'm more conscious of it now than I was back then. I think back then it was just something I did naturally, and now I'm doing it more because I want to hold on to who I am and where I come from.
I got it. You perform also at the G Festival, right? The Faroese Musical Festival
I
at the
did.
time. Were you nervous?
Oh my Lord, I was so nervous. That was, I believe that was my first time like performing at a festival, and yeah, it was crazy. But it was also a really beautiful experience because I remember my sisters and my mom and some friends, they had made like these posters where it said like, Elinborg, you can do this and we love you. So they were all standing like this during my show, and it was very heartwarming to experience that. But I was also very nervous, yes.
Good for you. But you did it, that was.
I did it, yeah.
And then, ever since you released the first album, you've been a regular in the live circuit around the Faroe Island, right? So not only you did the festival and you disappear, but you've been at the time, hanging around, trying to participate in more shows, workshop, small coffees or whatever, right? So you didn't give up, which is good.
I didn't. Yeah. Yeah, it's always been a really big passion of mine, and I've always known that this is what I wanted to do. So I've always tried to find like ways to be able to do this forever, kind of, even when I was only 17, or I can't remember how old I was, but around that age.
Yeah. Wow, good for you, man. But you have a strong personality. You know what you want and you go for it, Nobody can tell you otherwise,
No. It's just always been like that. But I think I get that both from my sister and my parents. They're also very like strong, opinionated, and they know what they want, kind of. So it's just
and they need to do it, They need to.
Yeah.
A lot of people know what they want to do, but they're not willing to do the work, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of work, but we need to do it.
Absolutely. If you have a passion about something and you have a goal. In 2016, like a year after, you performed at the Summer Festival and won the best live act of the year I think it was called Faroe Music Award, FMA. That's a big deal, A year after you say, here I am, I want to perform for you guys, whatever. No,
Yeah.
wow.
Well, that was a really big moment for me, actually. It came very unexpected because I was nominated for, I think, Best New Act or something. And I remember I didn't win that, so I was like, oh dang, okay, whatever. And then there was this award where the people could vote, and that was the best live act, and I won that. And I remember I was very surprised. I started crying, and it was a really, really good moment. And it's always nice to, get recognition and kind of feel it gives you kind of this power to kind of continue what you
Yeah.
do. So yeah, that
I'm
was
quite sure
big.
your parents were very happy with you at the time. Yeah.
They were they were
Yeah.
very proud.
Good for you. Good. Very happy. In 2017, the year after, you released your second album, right?
Yes.
I don't know how to pronounce Landið, Sumaikenster, something
Yes,
like that.
almost.
And of course, it's a lot of people were involved. Kongi, I know him, Alan, and then has Marius Sitzka. And I looked them out. They're kind of famous in your country, as that area as well.
Yeah.
Same question, now you went for EP, now you keep on writing new tracks, some in English, some in Faroese, and then you put that together. I imagine that it opened a lot more door for you, the second album, but it still was very hard. It's very difficult to make it into the music business.
It is.
And
Yeah.
yeah, so feel free to tell me about the process and put me in the moment about how you release the second one and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, the process was kind of the same as the first one. I did it with almost the same people, and one of the main characters in everything was Høgne Lisberg, who produced the albums. And I remember we were chatting because he has always been a really big part of my life. He was my sister's best friend, still is one of her closest friends. So I've known him since I was like a small girl. And he was asking me like, "Hey, are we gonna do something else?" And I was like, "Yeah, I have these songs." And he just kind of took my music and kind of gave it a hug and helped me kind of make this sound universe, which was really perfect at the time. And the process, I mean, it was actually only beautiful because it was, again, for this album, a way of me to kind of process what was going on in my life. And the title is called Landið som ongin ser, which means the land that no one sees. And it was just kind of me trying to process my emotions. And so those two albums kind of move in the same area. And I remember we talked also about doing an LP, and then we did that with both EPs. So one of the side A had one of the EPs, and then side B had the other one. So it became an album once like we finished everything. And yeah, that's an album that's really close to my heart as well. And even though it's very far away from what I'm doing today, it has a special place, and I'm very happy that I did that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then were you able to tour with that album at the time? I mean, more second album, although there was first EP and the second EP, more exposure. You had more in your bag, so to speak, that you could promote and then put a name out there for yourself, right? So
Yes, absolutely. And I went on a tour in Poland after that EP, and we did a few. I think I was there like 4 times doing shows, and the shows only got bigger and bigger after each time we went. So that was that opened that door kind of, and it was the first time I was going to another country playing my music. So
yeah,
yeah, it opened a lot of doors, and I'm very grateful for that.
yeah. You wanted to, although you were happy at home, you wanted to, see the
Yeah.
world and more
Yes,
of the
of
house,
course.
do your own
Yeah.
thing, and get you. Good for
Yeah.
you, man. Yeah, good for you. And then in the year after, in May 2018, you released your single. I think it's pronounced Brimið or something like that.
Yes.
And it
Yes.
was featured in the Norwegian Netflix TV series.
Yes.
Of course, I imagine that make a big difference because being your music in the background or part of a series or Netflix obviously is very important all over the world. So I imagine that a lot of people's heard your music, say, "Who is this young lady?" You know,
Yeah.
where
Yeah,
does she
that
come
was
from?
that was amazing. And Brimið was kind of like the shift, I think, in my sound. That was the first song that was more in the electronic sound.
Yeah.
And the fact that it became like a thing on Netflix in Ragnarok, it was amazing. I remember being in this apartment in this little room here, and I was just jumping and dancing because I was so happy. And it made a lot of difference also, you know, with streams and with people finding out who you are and stuff. So that helped a lot, and yeah, made a huge difference.
Is it difficult to make a living as a musician now that you finished school and everything? It still is trouble or difficult? I don't know, to pay the bills and I don't know, try
Yes.
to get a whole of people on tour or shows and
Yeah, it is. It's not easy. And I mean, especially like now I'm finished my studies. So now I really need to, you know, make a living on my own. And I mean, no, it's not easy, but I've always been very prepared for this life. And both my mom, my sister, and also my father have always been like, okay, you need to be prepared to not really have a lot of money to begin with and to kind of have patience and build yourself up. And that's what I've been trying to do. And right now, thankfully, it's going very well. And I'm able to be here. And I also have a very supportive partner. And so, yeah, in that sense, it's working out great. But it's no secret that it's hard work. And you have to kind of continue working really hard in order to make it work, kind of, yeah.
Absolutely. Then in 2022, since you graduated I think you finished your bachelor's degree at the time, could you collaborated with your sister, Elinborg, and then you were able to, and then I think at the time you ended up producing your third album, Vera, right? Is that correct? Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Feel free to elaborate on that one as well.
Yeah, on the EP, Vera. Or,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah, that was like when I made the shift really into electronic music, and I've got some classes in like how to produce and stuff, so I had a hand in like the production part as well in that album, and I worked with so many amazing people, and it was a very, very inspiring time. And I wrote a lot of the songs during the pandemic, so the songs also were very personal, and I had a lot of time to kind of sit and work on them because I had nothing else to do. Yeah, and yeah, it's my favorite thing ever, actually. It's like my baby. It's like the birth of Elinborg, I feel like. And the upcoming album is kind of the sibling to that one.
I got it. And then, then again, you were getting closer and closer to the place where you want to be, right? And still it's difficult, but hard work and dedication pays off, Elinborg. So,
Yes.
don't hang out with negative people, Sometimes we
No.
hang out with, hey, you're not going to make it very difficult. You're on the show, your sister, this and that. Forget about that, man. So you're very focused, go for it, accomplish everything you want to do, and you will do very, very, very well. And then obviously you join your sister, Ivor, in the 2022 European tour, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. She was playing bigger venues that you have seen before. So I imagine that opened a lot of doors as well, right? So
Yeah, a lot happened after that tour, which I'm very grateful for. And it was such a big experience for me to go on that tour and to experience singing for so many people. And I did it solo, which was also very scary, but kind of made me a lot stronger as an performing artist. And yeah, just touring with your sister, you can imagine how silly and fun that can be. And we truly had the best time ever. And me and Ivor and our tour manager Emily, we even got matching tattoos on that tour. So
really,
it's like it's like a memory I hold forever. You can see it. It's this sword.
Yeah, that sword.
Yeah. So we kind of have it on our bodies now, because it was very special. Yeah.
I got it. Good for you. Were you still get nervous when you perform?
Yes, I was very nervous. But it got a bit better after every show. But the first shows were, I was yes, very nervous. But it was also what calmed me down. Also, was meeting the people afterwards and seeing how nice everyone was and how welcoming everyone was. That just made it a lot easier to go on stage and feel comfortable. And yeah.
Looking back in your life, anybody that you would like to work with or opening a show for? Any names that?
Yes, Florence and the Machine, I love.
Yeah.
Syðrugøta, a band called High as a Kite, I love. So there, yeah, a lot of artists. But I think those are my top three, probably, right now at least. Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to be interviewing two of the ones that you mentioned very soon.
Really?
Yeah. I need to work up a day with Syðrugøta, and then High Sakai. Yeah, it's an interview coming. I interviewed her like a couple years ago. Now I've pinged the manager to see if I can interview them again. So we'll know very soon.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a lot of great musicians, man. In that
So
part
many.
of the world, yeah. Especially,
Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead.
Okay, but that was also a thing that was very special with the Vera album, where High as a Kite, like Trond, who is a part of the group, and Christoph, they both had a part in the production in the song called Vera, in the title track, which was such a dream come true for me. And we just reached out and were like, "Hey, do you want to produce this?" And they were willing to do it. And it was like, "Oh my God, that's incredible." So, yeah, big dream come true to work with them.
Good for you. In Norway, somehow there's a lot of great musicians. I mean, a lot. I have interviewed a lot of people from Norway. Every time that I do more research about, new people I should go after, it's Norway. And they explained to me that they have a lot of specialized school there. When you are kind of 14 or 15, they divide you. You want to be like an engineer, math-oriented, science-oriented, and then or musical, arts, poetry, author. And so the kids are aligned, when they are 15, 16. So it's a lot of musicians coming that way. And it's amazing, man. Some people I don't have any talents. I just like...
I don't believe you. You have a talent in interviewing people. That's a talent.
Believe me, in the real world, I'm very shy. This is son of a could. And
me too, actually.
But you're doing all right. You're doing all right.
Thank you.
And then that was 2022. And then in 2023, you end up releasing your single, I cannot pronounce it, which translate into In Your Protection. Yes. The song is about love and how it can be beautiful and safe, but also scary. Have you been in love?
I have. That's
really in love. Not like someone. You like a people, but really love.
I think the first time I really fell in love, like hardcore love, was with my current boyfriend. We've been together for a long time, for 7 years. Yeah, but I mean, I think I felt like I've been in love a lot as a younger girl. But I've never experienced this deep connection with anyone. So I would say really deep love once.
Good for you. It's difficult to open up, right?
Yeah, it is. And that's a hard question as well. But yeah, it's also beautiful. And I think also that's what the song is about, basically, it can be so beautiful, but it's obviously always rough for everyone at times. And to kind of know how to love also in those rough times.
Like some musicians tells me that when they write a song, they write about general stuff. And some part is true, some is fiction, right? They will put your case, your lyrics and the way you think it becomes. I don't understand your language, obviously, but they're very personal. You really open up people give you money to see you play live, and you tell a lot of stories about your life, right? Kind of
Yeah.
weird if you think about it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like opening up your diary to the
That's right.
entire world to
Right.
read. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's also very special too. I always see it kind of like I sit with it here in my own bubble, and then I can kind of set it free to everyone else to enjoy, and then I don't have to hold on to it anymore, kind of. So I always try to think of it like that.
Gotcha. You grew up in a small, obviously, as I mentioned before, in small village, and now you're living in Copenhagen, right? You just completed your master degree at Rhythmic Music uh, Conservatory in Copenhagen, which is good for
Yes.
you. It's a very good deal, man.
Thank
Your
you.
parents and your mom, your sister might be very, very proud of you.
Yes, it was a big deal. And I enjoyed my time at that school very much, and it has given me a lot of great things. It has also especially made me a much better vocalist than I was before I started there. So
Yeah.
I'm very happy I did that. And yeah, my mom was incredibly proud because I am the first child to have a master degree.
Good for you.
So,
Yeah.
so she was very proud of me.
Good for you, man. You got to tell your boyfriend that I say that
Yeah,
he need to marry you. He need to put a ring in the finger, and
I will. I'll shout it.
yeah, we'll show tell them that. Otherwise, he's
Yeah.
missing out. You are an upcoming and famous artist, very attractive lady. She's going to do well in life, so
Yes.
you need
Need to put a ring on it.
That's right. You need to formalize a relationship.
Yeah.
You recently signed a contract with Doomstar Booking and Flying Fox Management, right?
Yes.
Making try to uh, take your career to the next level and more formalize your career now. It um, should make a big difference, right? With having a booking and a tour manager that help you out. Still, you need to pay them, right? Or they need to take a percentage of the upcoming tour, right? So nothing is free, but it should open more doors. And where you see going into now, 2025?
Yeah, I think it has made like a huge difference having like a team behind you. It's being an independent artist is a lot of work, and like it's mostly computer work and emails and so much stuff that's not like artistic at all.
Yeah.
So it was such a relief to kind of get to hand that over to someone else. And
Yeah.
my like working with my manager, Erin Lynch, has been like a game changer. She is like my ride or die. She helps me with everything. And like if I have questions, if there's anything I don't understand or need to talk about, she's always there to help me out. And yeah, and can make decisions with me, so you're not so lonely all the time in the process. So that has been really, really nice. And she's working really hard right now to make things happen. And
Yeah.
what's coming up is the new album. I'm releasing an album this year.
Yeah.
And it's almost finished. We are like finalizing it right now. And yeah, I can't say too much yet because there's nothing that's kind of finalized.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of exciting things happening this year, and
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good year. That's my feeling.
Right. And the mix and the master is going to be done in Denmark where you live, or back in your own country, or
Yeah, so the production has been both here. I've done some of it myself, and then also in the Faroe Islands.
yeah.
It's a guy called Per L. Højgaard, Ivor's drummer actually, who is producing the album, and alongside my band, Jan Rune Poulsen and Hegen Siska Davidsen. And the mix and master will probably go on in the Faroe Islands. Maybe not the master, I'm not sure yet, but the mix will definitely happen in the Faroe Islands. Yeah.
I got you. Good for you. I noticed, I was doing some research. There's a strong connection between, artistic communities between Iceland and Faroe Island. It's growing stronger. Do a lot of people for your country go there to not just to visit, but to study, to try to learn the culture, learn the music, and because in Iceland, I don't know, I've been in Iceland a couple of times, very beautiful, but there's a lot of great musicians as well there. And so there's a strong connection between the Faroe Island and Iceland, people going there just to immerse in the culture and the music and the studies and go to school, I imagine, right?
Yeah, I think there's a strong connection between like Icelandic people and Faroese people. We've always, or every time I'm there, I always feel like we're friends, like we're family. And I've been there a lot actually, also like writing this album. I've done a lot of it in Iceland actually last year. And the cover photo shoot for the album is also happening in Iceland. So I personally also have a really deep connection to Iceland, probably also because I was there a lot as a child with my sister and stuff. So it just feels like a home somehow. And I think a lot of Faroese people feel that as well, that Iceland is it kind of feels like coming home when you come there, kind of. And yeah, everyone is really nice and, takes care of each other, and it's good vibes.
Good for you. I imagine that, Iceland have played, a big role in a lot of musicians for your country, and airwaves, for example, open doors for many Faroese artists at the time, right? So.
Yes, and I performed at Airwaves, I can't remember when, a year ago, maybe.
Yeah.
That was such an incredible experience. We performed in Idno, I think it's called Idno, and it was a full house, and I think it's like one of my favorite performances ever that I've made.
Wow.
Yeah, so that also has a special place in my heart, Iceland and that place. I really want to go back actually and experience that again.
So you have your album coming up soon. You need to send me a copy when it's ready, or you need to let me know when it's going to be ready,
Yes,
so we can do
of
a follow-up
course.
interview, man.
Yes,
And
let's do that. I would love to.
yeah, because you are going to be very, very famous. Um, so hopefully you can. I think it's very difficult for you guys to tour here in the United States, because as foreigner you need to pay like a stipend, like a visa, which is very expensive for a lot of people, and you need to do X number of shows to make it worthwhile. Otherwise, you're going to red and you're losing money, especially at the beginning, right? So
Yeah, it's hard, and I think maybe like if I were to do that this year or next year, it would be on a support tour, so I would be supporting someone else,
yeah,
which is also very exciting. But yeah, it's a bit complicated, that whole process, where I'm very thankful to have a manager who can deal with that.
yeah. Maybe you
Yeah.
should open up for Kaisa you like, or
Yes, that would be amazing.
Ross, or Wadruna, or many, many, many great
Yes.
musicians.
Yes, I have a list of people I would love to open up for, so we're working on it.
Feel free to mention where the listener of this podcast can buy your music and your website and so forth. I will be putting the link in case just.
Yeah, you can go on my website, elinborgmusic.com, and
Yeah.
actually all the information should be on the website.
Yeah. It was very nice talking to you, Elinborg. Let me know if I can do anything else to help you out. Happy to help on any follow-up interview that you would like to do. And I know a lot of venues here where I live. And of course, owners of the venue, because I go to a lot of concerts here. There's a lot of great venues here. I live in the border with Washington, D.C. and Maryland. Maryland is where your sister is going to be playing a couple of weeks.
Oh,
And let me know if I can put you in touch with people, and there's anything else I can do to help out. You are going to be okay, and so tell your boyfriend to marry.
thank you so much. I will tell him. I will.
And then you invite me to the wedding.
Yes, of course. You're the first person I'm gonna invite.
Thank you. It was very nice talking to you. Good luck
You
to you,
too.
and you're doing very well. Thank you very much.
You too. Thank you so much.
No problem.